everyone, and welcome to the Honeybee Nuts podcast channel. My name is Melissa. I'm coming to you from Springboro, Ohio, where I live with my husband, my dog, and my two cats. Today is Friday, May 7th, and it is a little after 5 p.m. Today we have lots of sun and then clouds, We have some scattered showers going on today, so and it's quite cool outside. So I actually am enjoying the weather. I wish it was a little bit warmer because we did plant vegetables last weekend, but it's not cold enough to kill them off, so I guess that's okay. And we've had plenty of water this week, so I haven't had to go out and water them, so that's also something that's positive. So anyway, it's been a while since I've been here. I'm a little out of practice. The last time that I came to you, I think that I had just gotten back from a trip, and we are getting ready to leave on a trip in like 9 days. So yeah, it's just been very busy. Work has been busy. I've been doing a lot of crafting, which I'll get to, and a lot of purchasing, which I'll also get to. I have a whole huge pile of acquisitions to show. I should start off by saying hello to all of my new and returning viewers. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy the podcast. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so glad that you decided to come back and spend some time with me. If you're looking for places you can find me on Ravelry as Melissa1308, on Instagram as honey_bee_knits. You can find me on, I think that's it. If you found me on YouTube, you're already here. I think that's it. Yeah, I think those are the two main places you can find me as of right now. Anyway, so we're going to start off with giveaway winners from the last podcast. So in the last video I posted, I mentioned that 2 of the winners from the Vlogmas giveaway did not get in contact with me. So I still had 2 skeins of yarn to give away. So I had asked you to put in the comments what you're most looking forward to about spring, and most people said snow leaving, warmer weather, gardening, being to be outside with friends and family. With everything that's been going on, I know it's been hard for people to get together indoors. So I drew 2 winners. So the first winner is Stacy Charles, and you have won this skein of Fab Funky Fibers in the 15 color rainbow, and it's wonderful yarn. I know you're gonna love it. And then the second winner that I drew is for this skein of the Cozy Knitter in the Ho Ho Holiday colorway on Sparkle, and the winner of that is Krissa Leadingham. So if you guys could send me a message on Ravelry, my username is Melissa1308, with your full name and address, and I will get these popped in the mail for you. If you can contact me prior to, like, within the next week, I can get it out to you before I leave. If not, I'll have to get it to you when I get back. So it has been a busy few weeks. I feel like I have done a ton of crafting, and when I was gathering things up to show for the podcast, I didn't really feel like I did as much as I thought I did. I mean, it's still a lot, but it's not as much as I thought. So I'm gonna start with what I'm wearing, which is also part of acquisitions. So this is the Kelso top by Megan Kelly. This is made out of Kelborn woolens in the Mojave base. And what this is these are 50 gram skeins. I actually had 2 skeins left over. And this is made out of 60% cotton, 40% linen. I had never knit with a cotton linen blend, and I had never knit with linen before. So this was a fun project for me, because not only is it a new base, but also this was bottom up and seamed together, which I had also never done. So I have a few comments about the pattern itself, and then a few comments about how it fits and the yarn. So the yarn is a bit splitty, but I would expect that because it is a looser ply, and I'm sure that probably just has to do with the materials. That being said, it has a wonderful drape. Wonderful drape. So the pattern itself had some issues. There were several issues that I had with right side, wrong side getting mixed up within the pattern, short row shaping getting mixed up, stitch counts were off, and I did contact the designer, Megan Kelly, to let her know of the issues, and I told her also that other people had commented on the pattern in Ravelry with the same issues that I had. And she responded that she was no longer with Kelborn Woolens, that it was a collaboration with them, and so that I needed to reach out to Kelborn Woolens to get the issue corrected. I'm not going to do that. I spent way too much of my time as it was, fixing the issue and kind of fudging it a little bit in the pattern itself, and then reaching out to her to 3 different places because she had 3 different ways to contact her, and I tried each one, and each time I didn't get a response, I tried the next one, and so I feel like I've done as much as I'm going to do. I've spent enough time with the pattern. That being said, the issues that I had were very simple to fix. They weren't like extremely, like if you're an intermediate knitter, I think that if you're somebody that has done sweaters before, I think that there are issues that are easy to kind of either fudge your way through without it being noticeable, or actually fix the pattern. And so I am happy with the final product. I was not happy with the support that I received, especially since this is a paid for pattern. I think the pattern is $7 on Ravelry, and I ended up buying her entire collection. So I believe I spent between $20 and $30 for about 6 patterns, and I feel like that is a lot of money to spend on patterns that have errors. And I did check some of her other patterns in the collection. They also have the same errors. So either the pattern that has errors, or patterns that don't have good yarn support. And I understand that she's in a collaboration with a yarn company. However, her name is still on it. And I know personally, if my name was on something, I would want to make sure, especially if I'm still currently designing and putting out new patterns, I would want to make sure that my customers keep coming back, and I would want to help them in any way possible. So regardless of her business relationship with the yarn company, I felt very put out. So there's that. That being said, I could understand if the property rights are Kelborn Woolens, they're the ones that are getting paid for it. So I could understand why she wouldn't want to put more work into it, because she's obviously not getting the money from it. But overall, it's just, it was just not a good experience. That being said, I had already purchased two more shirt quantities of this yarn to make patterns with, and they are out of that collection. And I do still have plans to move forward with those patterns, knowing that there's going to be issues, and that I would just really need to pay attention, and that there's going to be issues that I'm going to need to fix. But I feel that I've already spent the money on them, so I want to get my money's worth out of them. At this point, I'm not going to get my money back. So I would like, not for the yarn, not that I would want money back for the yarn, because the yarn is fantastic. But I'm not going to get my money back for the patterns, so I might as well use what I have. So there is my little review on that. Moving on to my next finished object. I think this was a whip when I last podcasted. And guys, this was a slog to get through. I knit the Bubbles Cowl by Stephen West. I will say it is very loosely based on his pattern. The only thing that I used from his pattern was the cast on, the amount of stitches. So the cast on, the amount of stitches. I used the small bubbles pattern from the pattern. He has 3 sizes of bubbles. He has small, medium, large. I used the small. and then the cast off and seaming instructions. Everything else is completely different. So this is a giant warm infinity cowl that I can double loop. It's nice and warm and cozy, and I already know that next year when we're shoveling snow, I'm going to be wearing this because it is super soft and warm. I did knit it as a tube, so it's double layered, and I'm not 100% happy with how the finishing came out, but it's definitely something that's easy to hide. It's definitely something that's easy to hide. And I knit this using the Sexy Christmas mini skein set from Hugh Loco. This was a birthday gift from Jason. He bought me 2 of the mini sets, and I just used those to make it. And this is lovingly referred to as the watermelon cowl because the colors really don't remind me of Christmas at all, and they reminded me and my friends of a watermelon. Up close you can kind of see there's like some purple hue in there, so it looks a little more or less watermelony, but from far away the green definitely overtakes that purple and it just looks like a big watermelon, which I'm okay with. I'm really happy with this. I did knit this for myself. I don't knit a lot of things for myself unless they're like garments or socks. I don't knit a whole lot of the shawls and cowls and things that you see me make are for gifts from my family members. So I am very excited to have this. Infinity cowls are one of my favorite things that I keep for myself. I have, I think, 3. This is my 3rd. So I just love it so much. And it was a lot of fun to knit. All right, my last finished object is my whip jar project, which took me like no time at all to finish. It's so tiny. This is called the Cell Block Shawlettes, and it is by Rachel Rodden, R-O-D-E-N. And it's knit using Lorna Lace's Sportmate in the Orange is the New Black colorway. This was a mystery knit along that I signed up to do back in 2015, and I casted it on to here. Like I had like this much done. So it is good. And look, it actually matches my orange today. I'm not a huge orange person, but I've been knitting with a lot of orange lately. It's actually would be a nice summer shawl to wear to match this. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, so this was a really fun knit. It consists of, it is a paid for pattern, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but basically it uses drop stitches in a randomized way. I'll say that much. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to knit. And it's quick. This is a 70% wool, 30% alpaca blend. So there's the back. And we live near Cincinnati. A lot of my friends and family are Bengals fans. So this is going to be a gift for one of the Bengals fans in my life. I think that they will really enjoy that. And it's another whip out of the whip jar. It always feels good to finish something out of the whip jar because I'm one step closer. Although I keep, this project was not planned. Last time when I talked about my planned projects, this was not even on my horizon. I didn't have the yarn, didn't know about the pattern, but I just saw it. And actually this is not the top that I wanted to knit originally from her. That was the other issue. The top that I originally wanted to knit did not have like this lace panel in the middle. It just had some eyelets on the shoulders, but Ravelry said it went up to my size, and then when I checked the pattern, it only went up to like a 52-inch bust. Oh, that's what I didn't talk about, the fit of this. So I knit a size up on this because the size prior to this was like 2 inches below, 2 or 3 inches past my bust size, so I went up a size. And it is quite drapey, but I don't mind it for a summer top. But I do have a lot of I obviously would have to wear something under it anyway because it has the lace. So I do have to wear like a tank top or camisole underneath of it, which I'm fine with. Okay, on to the next thing. So now that I know this is out of order, but now that I have finished a whip from the whip jar, I get to pick a new whip, and there's only 3 in here. I do have, I think, 10 or 11 whips currently going. 3 of those are blankets. One of those blankets is almost done. I did work on it a little bit. It's my Ladyman Fiber Arts Scrappy blanket. I will show it when it's completed. This should be done in the next 2 months or so. Only because I wait until I get 10 minis from their club, so I get 5 minis a month to work on it. And then I did put another row in my Ladyman Fiber Arts Cozy Memories blanket, but I'm not going to show that today. Just because it gets kind of boring showing the same thing over and over again. So next time I work on it, I'll show it. Okay, so I picked out the Unleashed mittens, which I'm really happy that I picked these out because these will be a perfect small project to take with me on my trip. This is a pattern by Michelle Knit Pearl Hunter from a few years ago. She had like a Learn to Knit With Me series where she would release these different knit-alongs. She'd tell you what yarn to get, and they were mysteries. You knew what you were making, but you didn't know what they were going to look like. And I probably will rip these out and start it because I'm sure my gauge has changed and I've ripped the needles out, but you have a good idea of what the cuff looks like, just a basic cable. So she was teaching us, each pattern she did taught you to do a new technique. So this one was cabling, and it's just a pair of mittens, which I actually am really happy that I have a pair of mitten whips because we definitely need some mittens in this house. We were shoveling snow last year and it was not fun with no mittens. So, so yeah, I will restart those. This is using the Simply Worsted by Haiku in the, it just has a color number. It doesn't have a color name, but it's 55% merino superwash, 28% acrylic, 17% nylon, 140 yards per 100 grams. And I think I have 2 balls of it. I don't know if the pattern calls for 2 balls or if I plan on making 2 pairs. I think it calls for 2 balls. I'm thinking that I'll use 1 full ball and then half of another ball. But if not, I will make 2 pairs. But anyway, so I will set that aside to take downstairs with me. And this will be a nice project to take with me when I am on my trip because it'll be really small, compact, easy to work on. So yeah, I am taking, I'm gonna get into whips here soon, but I am taking 3 pairs of, well, 3 pairs of socks, but technically I think I can do 6 pairs of socks because I'm making shorty socks, so I can get 2 pairs per skein yarn with me on my trip. And I'm gonna take those, and I think I'm gonna cast on, I think 2 or 3 other things to take with me. I do plan on having a ton of knitting time while I'm there because it's gonna be a very relaxing vacation, and we also have a lot of traveling time. So we have like, I think like 8 hours on the plane, and at one point we're gonna have a 5-hour layover. So I will have plenty of knitting time. So I plan to take lots of projects, especially a lot of variety of projects, because if I get bored, I want to be able to switch it up. So, next, before I have 1 knitting whip to show, but before I do that, I'm going to show you my spinning finished objects. I got some questions, about, because I think I mentioned I had ordered the, Ashford Kiwi spinning wheel, and it did come in, and I love it. I put it together. I filmed a video of me putting it together, but I'm not editing it or gonna show that to the world just because it was a lot of footage, and halfway through I got really tired. So anyway, I have been playing around with it and doing a ton of spinning. All of these need to be washed, but it has not been warm enough outside for me to wash these and set these out to dry. So I will do that the next really nice warm weather day. But I finished 3 spinning projects, or 6 spinning projects. I actually finished 7, but the last one is still on the bobbin, so I will just show that next time. I have already picked out 6 more spinning projects to work on, so we'll see how far I get through that between now and the next time I podcast. But I have been doing so much spinning and I've been loving it, so I'm gonna take you through these because I actually for once saved the tags. So now the challenge will be to remember which is which. I have lots of tags here. So these are not being shown in the order that I spun them, just the order that I'm grabbing them. And these are some deep stash, let me tell you. So this first one, and this will look so much better after I wash and block it. But this one is by Spun Right Round, and it's called Hot Stuff. It's a merino blend, and it is orange, pink, purple. It's gorgeous. And I think I'm pretty consistent. There are some overspun, underspun spots in here, some thicker spots, but I mean, that's just the nature of hand spun. Overall, I'm very, very happy with this, and it's so bright and beautiful, again, on the orange theme. So there is one. Okay. And the next one is from Vivid Yarn Studio, and this was a braid by her, and this is called Electric Storm. It's 100% superwash merino, and it is 100 grams, 3.5 ounces. But I haven't measured how much yardage it is yet, but there it is. Very pretty. It's like this neon green, some light pink, gray, and a little bit of white thrown in. But that was fun to spin up, and that was really soft too. The next one was an acquisition on my last podcast. This is the braid that Jason purchased for me when we were in Las Vegas from Desert Panda Fiber Arts in the Bella's Purple Rose colorway. And this is 4 ounces. Let's see here. It's a Rambouillet comb top. I think that's it, yeah. Bella's Purple Rose, and this was so fun to spin up. It's beautiful. And I have a ton of yardage for this, and I think this is the closest I've ever gotten to fingering weight. There's some, like, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I am definitely, a lot of my hand spun I gift, I'm keeping this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Originally, I think this is going to be a lot of yardage. Originally I was like, oh, I can make some socks, but because it's Rambouillet, it's not very soft. That might change when after I wash it, but I think that this would make an amazing yoke for a sweater. So we will have to see. This might be put away in my stash for a very long time because I have lots of sweater plans, and this is not in them anytime soon, but it is very beautiful. And I was happy to spin it. This one definitely needs wash. This is from Deviant Fibers, and it's 100% Falkland wool. It's called Lisa Frank, and I got this at the first year I went to the Kentucky Sheep and Wool Festival, which is like 4 or 5 years ago. So, and it's so bright. It's got pink and purple and teal and green and yellow and orange, and it's just very, very beautiful. It's definitely Lisa Frank-like. I love it. This one is by Spun Right Round, and this is called Glad Rags. And it's a custom merino blend. And this one, when I pulled out the bag, I was like, man, my color tastes really have changed over the years, because I'm not sure why I bought this, because these colors are ugly. And then I spun it up and I was like, maybe this is why I bought this. Maybe I saw somebody spin it up, because guys, it's just a beautiful chaotic mess, and I love it. It's so, I wouldn't call this colorway pretty, but I would call it interesting. Like, this definitely is something that needs to be spotlit on its own, maybe in like a one skein shawl or something like that. It's definitely, I don't think it's ugly anymore. But I wouldn't call it beautiful. Like, I would call it beautiful, but not like, oh, it's so cute. I call it like, it's like very deep, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but, and then the last one is by All the Pretty Fibers, and it is 3.5 ounces merino roving, and it's called Fairy. And it's just, I've a lot of greens apparently, but purple, blue, green, teal, and I wish I could have washed these before I showed it to you, because let me just show you the difference. There's like a huge difference. This is like, actually, I don't think this one has been washed either. That one needs washed. Let me pull one, because this is very similar in fiber type, and there's just a huge difference between washing and not. So all these crinklies will come out when I wash it, and it just, the fiber itself just fluffs up. So, but this is a finished, this is really pretty, by the way. Wow. Yeah, so this is a 2 finished skeins. This one has been washed, this one has not, and they're similar fiber content, and you can just see the difference in the texture. It just makes a huge difference, and it softens it up so much. So I wish I would have had time or the right weather to wash these before I showed them to you, because they look so much nicer when they're fully done, but that's okay. So I have these in my little Tanny Casey project bag. I can't remember if this is one I bought or one that Levi gifted to me, because he did buy me one. And I don't remember if he bought me this one or if I bought this one, but Tanny Casey, I love her bags, and I have all those in there, so I can take them downstairs. And as soon as we have a 70-ish degree day, I will soak those and put them out on the deck to dry. I'll show you my last whip, which was in the plans this last time. It is the baby blanket. So I started this, let's see, today is Friday. I think I started this on Wednesday, and I am a little over halfway through. It's rolling up on the sides because it needs blocked, but this is the Chevron baby blanket by Espace Tricot, I think is how you say it. Don't speak French, so that's wrong, I'm sorry. But so pretty, and I just use the same colors and the same yarn that they suggest for the pattern. I knit this baby blanket several times before. It's just been a while since I've had to knit one. Anytime a close friend or family member is having a baby, this is the blanket that I make them, because it is such a good pattern. It's so good for, it's a good size. I love the yarn. It's a fast knit. So if you're following along, my brother and his wife are expecting their first baby in July, and I knit a first year wardrobe for the baby. So I knit 7 pairs of socks, a sweater, and 3 hats for each major size group. So I did that for 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and 6 to 12 months. Plus, I'm gonna be knitting a baby blanket. So the baby blanket is the last major project. I still have 1 pair of socks for the 6 to 12 month size. Maybe it's 9 to 12 month size. I think it's 6 to 12 month size. And then I will be washing everything and sending it out. So the goal is to actually get this blanket done and those socks done this weekend. I need to get them soaked and washed next weekend so I can send them out to her, because her baby shower is a week from Sunday, or a week from Saturday. But we are gonna be out of town, so I'm not gonna be able to go. But I want her to have them as soon as possible. Now, she's not due till July, so I still have time, even if I don't get them shipped out before we leave. But that is my goal, is to get this knit and finish this weekend, which shouldn't be a problem. And then get that pair of socks started and finished this weekend, and then start washing and blocking everything to send. And I will make sure to get pictures and show it. everything on the podcast, because I know I showed bits and pieces here and there throughout the past several months since I found out back in, I think, January or December. Yeah, this is in my unicorn bag by Black Pearl Magic. Her bags are amazing. They're so well made. And this is huge. I did her unicorn mystery birthday box, which I'm so glad I did. And there's her little logo. I don't know if you can see it, but it's Black Pearl Magic, handmade in Baltimore. And I got to meet her in person at Rhinebeck. Obviously not last year because it was canceled, but the year before. And her, and I believe it was her husband or her friend, were there, and they were just so incredibly wonderful. I've talked about them on the podcast before, but if you have a chance and you have some money and burning a hole in your pocket, definitely check out her shop. That leads us into acquisitions, and there is a lot. So speaking of Rhinebeck, Jason and I got our second vaccine. It'll be 2 weeks ago on Monday. So we will be officially fully vaccinated in like 3 days. And Rhinebeck's on, and I was talking to Levi, and I think we're gonna go because as long as I can get the time off work. I am taking a lot of vacations this year because we had a lot of travel credits from the vacations that got canceled last year. So I'm getting ready to go on my second trip. I have 2 more trips outside of Rhinebeck planned for later this year. So as long as I have the vacation time, I plan on being at Rhinebeck this year. So how exciting. All right, let's start digging, and I literally mean digging our way through these acquisitions because there are so many. Which is funny because I really haven't bought anything in like the last 2 or 3 weeks. I bought one thing, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. Who knows? Let's just get on with the show. So I have more Kelborn woolens. This I bought at the same time as this. So I think by now I would have inserted, no, I wouldn't have. Just kidding. So I have 2 more summer tops that I would like to make. One is out of this yellow, and it's called the Keen Wonder. It's Keane. And I think it's Keen Wonder, but it could be Kiani Wonder, Kian Wonder, whatever the name is. That is going to be this yellow. I'll put a picture up here. And then this kind of greenish bluish color is going to be the Bodie, which is a short sleeve top. So those are planned cast-ons. I think I'm going to cast this one on and take it with me on my trip. So I'll have a nice colorful array of 3 summer tops. I wore my Estee on the last podcast, and I mentioned that I don't know why I don't make more short sleeve and tank tops, because I wear that more than any of my other sweaters. So that is the plan, is to make more short sleeve and tank toppy things for my wardrobe. I'm not showing these in any order. The next acquisition that I have is also potentially, I don't know about this one. This one might not be cast on for my trip, but it will be cast on soonish. This is, Jason and I needed to take the car to get a headlight put in because the way these cars are made, Jason's car, you have to take off the whole bumper to replace one light bulb. It's ridiculous. So we decided to just pay the labor to do it instead of doing it ourselves. And it took them like an hour and a half to 2 hours, I think. And it was down in Old Springboro, where we live, which is like a little town. It's very, very old. I think they have buildings. I think we were walking, I want to say like 1842. Anyway, 1900s. Buildings from 1900s that they've built shops out of. Your standard small town vibe. And we decided that while we were waiting, instead of sitting around inside the car shop, we walked a couple blocks and got some breakfast. And then we went to my local yarn store, which is Woolly Bully. And I told Jason, I was like, after breakfast, I was like, I don't really need to go in there. We don't really need to stop. I really don't need any yarn, and there's not really any yarn that I want. He's like, we'll just stop in and see what they have since we're going to pass it on the way by anyway. And I did. And of course, samples sell yarn, guys. Samples sell yarn, because they had a sample of, it's called the Columbina by Amba O'Brien. Never heard of it before I walked in the shop. Put up a picture here. And I was like, that looks fun. I want to make that. Which I'm not sure why it looked fun at the time, because it looks like a lot of seed stitch. But anyway. And then I forgot how much I hated seed stitch. But I still really want the shawl. So I didn't get the colors they made it out of, or the colors that were suggested by the pattern. I went and made up like my own kind of combination. So I knit it out, or I purchased La Jolla by Ba Yarn. It's 100% superwash merino wool, 400 yards per 115 grams. And this is their April 2021 special colorway. So I don't know if this is like their yarn of the month colorway in general, or if this is a special colorway that they dyed for my shop. But she said that they get a special colorway from them every month, and this was their April colorway. And then I got this skein to contrast with it, and this was their February colorway. So when you see the shawl, you'll know I think this is gonna turn out really awesome. These are not normally colors that I would gravitate to, but I think with that pattern along with this contrast, it's going to be gorgeous. So this is definitely a contender for casting on before we leave. We'll see, because I have another shawl that is definitely getting casted on before we leave. And I don't know that I want to take two shawls. And I think with the mittens, the tank top, the socks, and the other shawl, I think I'm good. I don't think I need to take two shawls with me. But regardless, this will be a cast on very soon. If not now, definitely later. So I have to dig for the next one, but before I get there, I will show you. I kind of lost my mind, and I've been looking at these, and I think this is Grocery Girl's fault, right? Because I was catching up on their podcasts, watching old podcasts, and they started talking about this this company called Gritty Knits, and I had seen these before and was drooling over them, and I had put it on my wish list as like, if the product comes out in the right colors and I have the money, I would get it. Like for the past 3 years, and then it kind of fell off my radar. And then I was watching Grocery Girls from like 3 years ago, and they showed it, and I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to get that. And I went to her shop, and she had just done an update with my colors, so I got to. These are the yarn snakes. This is ridiculous. So I don't even know. I have been really good about not purchasing unless I have a pattern in mind, and this is completely not that. I have no idea. There's only so many Advent-y type patterns out there, and I've knit a lot of them. So I have no clue at all what this is going to be, but they're gorgeous. And they are two different, they're not the same. They look very, very similar, but they are not the same fade. I don't think they were labeled two different. No, because this has green and this doesn't. Yeah, they're not the same. They're very similar in the front and the end, but the middle is different. And the biggest difference is this is fingering weight. This is worsted weight. So I have lots of ideas. I don't have lots of ideas, but one of the options I was thinking about with this is potentially another Stephen West jigsaw puzzle shawl because I had a lot of fun knitting that. Or I thought about putting this with like a really dark contrasting color, probably a black, and doing like a lap blanket or like a worsted weight worsted weight mitered square blanket with black squares in between the color squares. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to be. But I needed it for I didn't need it. I really, really wanted it for my stash. So there's that one. And then here's the fingering weight one, which this part right here, from like right here to here, like sold me on this one. Cause I think I was on the fence. Because I'm not a huge fan from like here to here. Those aren't really my thing, but like from there to there, gorgeous. And then when you put it all together, it's super pretty. So again, I lost my freaking mind, don't know what I was doing, and purchased way too much, but no buyer's remorse. I did purchase, when I purchased the Kelborn woolens, I purchased Embody by Jacqueline Sislak, I can't pronounce that, but this is the capsule collection to knit and sew. This was definitely like a bandwagon thing, and when I got it I was really excited about it, but I also don't know, I haven't really looked at the patterns, and I'm assuming she has it graded properly for short people. But I think that part of what makes these patterns work for her is that she is so tall. I think like something I was super excited about in this book is, let me show you. The photography in this book alone is gorgeous. And to see somebody my size on a cover of a book like this is worth the money in general. But as far as usability, this is the one I was super excited about, this top. That being said, I don't know if that would look okay on me. I think it works for her because she's so tall. I don't know. We'll try it. Maybe we'll try it one day. Because it really is, I mean, it's beautiful, right? It's so light and airy. And to put over top of a dress that you sew yourself, like I can't even imagine making clothing. When I got the book, my friend Carrie Ann also got it, and she was like, she's like an expert sewer. I'm terrible at sewing, but she was like, oh, we need to get together and get together and plan. I'll help you. I'll teach you how to sew these. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And then I was like looking at this and I'm like, I don't know if I have, like, I love this, I love that. But I don't necessarily know that I want to spend the time making it. That's so bad. I know. I just, sewing is one of those things where I really have to be in the mood for it. And all I want to do is knit and spin right now. I don't really have the will, I don't know what it is, to sew right now. But if I did sew something out of this book, it would be, let me see if I can find it again. Where'd it go? Doop. It would be this dress for sure to go with this top. So we'll see. I think it's a beautiful book. I love the photography in it. I love seeing somebody represent me. She's just so beautiful, and I'm so thrilled to see a body that looks like mine on a cover of a knitting sewing magazine. Just so incredibly thrilled. So it means a lot for all of us plus size women out there. Okay, you thought we were done because this is now empty. This is what I normally keep my acquisitions in. Normally there's lots of room. In fact, I made this at my sister-in-law's bachelorette party when they were engaged, and now they're having a baby. How exciting. Anyway. Oh, when I purchased the yarn from my local yarn store, they also gave me a free pattern called You Are Enough. They were doing a knit along for it, and I think it's a mystery because there were no pictures, but she's like, I'm gonna give you this pattern. I was like, okay, thanks. So I got a free pattern. Okay, next is I purchased, and this was another thing I was gonna possibly take on my trip. Okay, I might take this on my trip. There is a mystery knit along. Is it a mystery? I think it's a mystery. For some reason, I was thinking I saw a picture of it, though. Oh, yeah, there is a picture. So, if you want it to be a mystery, look away. I don't know if this is the knit version. Oh, yeah, it has to be the knit version. Yep. Okay. So, there's a little knit along going along with Earth Yarns for the Pazar Market Bag Kit. And that's what it looks like. And I think I'm going to knit 2 of them. I was cleaning out my pantry, as you do, once a year, and I realized we have so many freaking plastic bags. Like, it filled my kitchen floor with plastic bags. I told Jason, we're not buying another garbage bag until we use up all this. So I decided I needed some market bags to try to eliminate at least a little bit of the plastic. So I purchased 2 of these kits. And one is in, I don't know if it has the colorways in here. I don't think it does. They're just colorway numbers. So, but I have purple, like a purple blue-ish, and a pink green-ish. Go figure. But I think one of these might come with me on my trip. I also purchased, they had, this was for local yarn shop day. They had my friend, ouch, so they had some sales and some not so sales, but so my friend Kim, for my birthday a couple years ago, got me one of these, and it's not in this colorway, one of these, it's called Squishy Skeinets by, I think it's Anzula. Yeah, Anzula. And she got me, I think it's called Electric Rainbow. So I had purchased the rainbow one, and I purchased a skein of their all natural colorway to go with my Electric Rainbow set, and a skein of the black to go with my rainbow set. And I am gonna make, I think it's called Juniper Breeze, Juniper something shawl. Either way, Kim made it and I fell in love with it and needed to have it. So apparently I needed 2 because I really love the Electric Rainbow and I really love the rainbow, and I figured I could just have one for spring and one for fall because this is very fall and the other one's very springy. So anyway, got that. Again, not an acquisition that I need to make, but at least it has a plan. So much stuff. Okay, I got, oh, spoiler alert, I got my Ladyman Fiber Arts minis for May. Here they are. They send them out in alphabetical order. We are on G's. So when I get the next set of 5, it'll be time to put more minis as well. When I get June's minis, it'll be time to put another row in this blanket and finish off this blanket. And then I'm gonna start the habitation throw with my leftovers. I purchased this skein of Le Louvre, I can't say it, by, this is Trey Liz, and this was the Mina Phillip Around the World sock collection skein for this month, maybe last month, I don't remember, but there's that. I have another skein that's been in the mail for like several months, something I didn't think about is these are international. So I really hope that skein of yarn did not get lost. I just ordered another skein, and then I missed out on a skein, which is a huge bummer because I've been stalking all the pages. This one was not advertised very well at all, and I missed out on it. So I'm hoping she brings it back. If not, I guess I will be missing one from the collection. But I really wanted to get all the yarn and support all these new dyers, new to me dyers. And I thought it was cool to have yarn from just all over the world. Just a little something, but I don't know if I'm gonna get that one, which really makes me sad, but I'm sure she'll probably, I'm sure the demand's there, so hopefully she comes back with it. This is the yarn that I'm gonna cast on to take with me. This is for the Malibu Temperance shawl, which I'll put up a picture here. And I purchased the yarn from Simply Sock Yarn Co. because they had all 3 colors in stock. However, I don't know if she has them back in stock or not. If you want the same color combination, check Arkansas Yarn Co. first, because she's the one that actually came up with this combo. She just didn't have them in stock when I went to go purchase. So, anyway, she is making the Temperance, and out of all the Temperance shawls I saw, none of them really made me want to knit it until I saw hers, and I was like, I need that. So, because of course, it's totally Lori colors. I mean, it's gorgeous. So I decided to be a total copycat, and I got the same colors that she had, and I think I'm going to cast it on and take it with me. This will be my shawl. So it's exciting. More yarn. At least I have plans to knit this one up soon. Okay. We're getting there. Kind of. When I bought my wheel, they sent me some sharding spinning fiber. So I don't know when I'll spin this up, but I have it. And I bought some yarn because I purchased some bats from her. Nicole Frost from Frost Yarn. She makes the prettiest things. I purchased some yarn from her. So I purchased this skein of Midnight Nebula, and it's on her superwash. It's super sparkly and pretty, and her colors are just so bright and poppy and gorgeous. She's a color whiz. And then this one is called Deep Space, and it has like speckles of color in the black, which is super neat. So neon-y. I love it. So yeah, a lot of my dye techniques that I learned when I was learning how to dye, I got from her free YouTube channel. So I just really wanted to support her. Stellina is gorgeous on this, and they're really pretty skeins. So, and I also signed up for her 3-month Fat Club. These are crinkly, they're squished, they're so pretty. So this one is, this was an opal theme, and what she does is she takes inspiration photos and she makes bats out of them. So this is her first one that was inspired by opal, and I don't know if you can see the shiny, glittery beautifulness in there, but it's gorgeous. So there's one. This is, I mean, can you even? It's so pretty. Look at all that beautiful, all of that Stellina and Firestar. Like, I don't know if you can tell by the camera or the shiny bag. I'm not opening it up because it'll make a huge mess, but it's gorgeous. And then here's the third one. So pretty. Her bat clubs are very hard to get. They sell out extremely fast. She has very limited quantities of them. So if you want them, you have to like stock her shop, but they're well worth it, I think. She does a beautiful job. And clearly the spinning fiber was purchased because I got a new wheel and I was like so excited to spin. I was waiting on it to come and I lost my mind. But I've been spinning a lot. I told Jason that I'm pretty sure if I kept spinning at the rate I'm spinning and not purchasing more, I will be out of fiber by the end of the year. It's not an exaggeration. I had a rather large fiber stash, but compared to my yarn stash, it's very small. And if I continue to spin 3 to 4 braids, bats, whatever, a week, I won't have any by the end of the year. So, which is fine. I just am gonna spin until I just am having a lot of fun doing it. So this is a dyer that I have been following for quite a while and had wanted to purchase and just never bit the bullet. So when I did bite the bullet, I bought like one of everything. Not really, because she has a ton, but one of everything that I really loved. So this one is called Hot Air Balloon. It's just a really beautiful pink. I got this one, which is called Dragonfly. This one is called Hello Love. This one is, I love this one, Tranquility. Let me show you this side. So pretty. And I also got these two to go together. This is called Derby Girl. And this one is called Bingy. And I figured I would use this to ply up this. So, to ply with this. So anyway, 2, 4, 6 new braids, 3 new bats. The goal is, I have a ton of bobbins. Oh, I didn't bring them up. So I purchased, my wheel came with 3 bobbins. I also got the jumbo flyer, which I haven't used yet, which came with 3 jumbo bobbins. And then I ordered 4 Acreworks 3D printed bobbins. And I'm really disappointed. Okay, so the customer service was great. I don't want to like shit on the product too much because I really do think that they have a wonderful company and they are more than willing to fix any issues. I think the issues that I was having with it are not fixable, and it's probably just a personal preference because I've heard so many people say so many great things about them, and I was so excited when I bought a standard wheel that I would be able to purchase these bobbins because they're so pretty and they have all the bright colors. And but my bobbins and the way you put on the ends, they're collapsible. They're called flat packs. So you have a core and then you have the 2 ends that snap on, like you put it on and twist. The problem is, and to me it's a design feature, the issue, but other people have used them and not had problems, so it's probably just me. Bobbins spin, so that twisting, it doesn't really, it locks it on, but it's not like a tight, you can't get it apart lock. If you accidentally twist the bobbin the opposite way, and it can be very lightly, it falls off. If you have yarn on there, all that yarn springs off. And I had that happen on 2 different ones. And I emailed them and they said, oh, you probably have a bad core. Let me send you out a new core. So they sent out a new core. It's not the core. It's definitely just a design element of the bobbin itself. It's because they come apart. If the bobbins were printed, like 3D printed as one or super glued, I could probably super glue it on maybe, so that they don't come apart. Regardless, it was a mess. And when I started researching this issue, I realized the 3D printed bobbins are actually $10 more expensive per bobbin than the wood ones that it comes with that are made for my wheel. So I actually paid more for a bobbin I like less because I prefer the wood ones because they don't come apart at all. So the 3D printed bobbins are not for me. I wouldn't say I'm not giving them a bad review. I would say I'm giving them a cautious review. If you're going to purchase them, don't be like me. Don't purchase 4 at a time. Purchase 1, try it out, make sure you like it, make sure you don't have any issues. And then if you like it, go back and get more, because they are $30 a piece, and you can get the typical standard wood bobbin for $20 a piece. So I went ahead and I got 4 more of the wood bobbins. So I have 7 total wood bobbins and 4 of the 3D printed bobbins. That's more bobbins than I will ever need to use. But I had decided that for every 7 spinning projects I finish, I can purchase 1 thing. Now, because I really wanted to get my stash down to fiber, because I need more room for the yarn I bought. That being said, I decided that after I had went crazy and bought a bunch. So I'm going to do a couple rounds of 7 before I buy any more fiber. The next time I buy fiber, quite possibly might be at a fiber event, fiber related event. But anyway, I just thought I would share that. So, that's it. That was a lot. Hi guys, it's future Melissa, because past Melissa forgot to show a few acquisitions, because they were downstairs. And the reason they're downstairs is because we very much use them down here. So I thought I would jump on and share. So my friend Carrie Ann started her own online shop, and it is called Haberdashery in the Heights, and she's on Instagram as well. But she makes the most wonderful sewing and knitting notions. So I bought, I think, like 1 of everything from her shop update, and I wanted to show you what I got. So first of all, I got these little nesting bowls. So I got the 3-pack, which is 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. So this one sits on my little coffee table and keeps all my sewing notions, my knitting notions. So it has like my spinning oil, my pens and pencils, needles, lip gloss, scrap yarn for my projects. And then I have this smaller one. This is the small size that has my scissors, my tape measure, my hand balm, stitch markers, row counter, etc. And then the medium one, my husband actually stole. He has a collection of pocket things. So he has like a knife and his pen and his wallet, things like that he takes out of his pocket when he gets home. And he has the medium bowl sitting on our countertop, and he puts all of his stuff in there. So they're great not just for your sewing and knitting notions, but also for your random collection of things around the house. So I also purchased her other style of cork trays. So this is like the small notions tray, and they're really cool. They just have snaps. So it's just like a square piece of fabric, and she puts snaps in here. So it makes it into like a little tray. And then this is her scissor size. So it's big enough. It's rectangular and big enough to put a pair of large sewing shears in there, which these are definitely going upstairs in the loft. I just haven't taken them up there yet. And then I got her little snips with her little snip case. So these come out, and they're just a pair of snips, and it just has like, because they're very sharp, it just has a nice little cover to keep them nice and safe. So I got those, and then that's not all. I also got, and this just hasn't made its way upstairs yet either, her little pin cushion. It's so cute with the little, she even put like a little fabric bow on there, and it has her logo. So I'll hold that up to the screen if you want to screenshot that and use that to find her on Instagram or on her website. And then also I got some pattern weights. She made these, I don't know, like when you're laying out a pattern, cutting, measuring, you use these to hold them down. And she put these cute little characters on there with a little washer for weight. So she has raccoons, there's fish. This is one of my favorites. The wolves, and there's a rabbit and a bird, and these all came as a set. There's some flowers, more flower. I think that's a flower. It's a flower with a face, I think. And then another cute little bird. So anyway, you should definitely check her out. All right, back to the podcast. It's been a while since I've been here. I'm very thirsty now after talking so much. I have some personal life updatey things to go through, and then I'm gonna go edit this and work on my baby blanket. So right after I podcasted the last time, I think when I podcasted the last time, I had mentioned I was having some back and hip issues, and I got an x-ray, had some testing done. Like, I had some normal blood worky things done, like my yearly blood work, and my doctor called me back, and basically she told me two things. One, she told me that I have degenerative disc disease, which is extremely common, which would explain a lot of the lower back pain that I have, like when I have been sedentary for a while and then I start walking, or I've been lifting a lot or walking a lot or running, and I have that extremely intense lower back pain. That's why, because my degenerative disc disease is in my lower back. That being said, it's extremely common. I think they said something like 1 in every, or maybe it was 3 in every 4 adults, or 1 in every 3 adults, something crazy, will be diagnosed with it at some point in their lives. So it is manageable with diet and exercise, essentially. Not necessarily diet, but definitely exercise, strengthening your muscles around your back and your core, avoiding high risk situations where you're like lifting 500 pounds or whatever. So that part is fine. But she did send me to physical therapy because of my hip issue. They didn't see anything on the x-ray that was like, oh, your hip's broken, which I totally expected them to tell me that it was because of the pain I was having. But it turns out that my pelvis is twisting out of place. There's like a pelvic joint at the bottom of your hip bone, and mine is popping out of place. So I've been going to physical therapy for like 7 or 8 weeks now, 2 to 3 times a week, and it's helped so much. Like, I went from not being able to turn over in bed at nighttime, hi Prince, to being able to do all my normal everyday activities again with little to no pain at all. And they've also taught me some methods I can use to manage the pain and manage the symptoms when it happens. So for example, she gave me some exercises that I can do on the plane so that when I stand up after being on a plane for 4 hours, I am not completely sideways and crooked, which is why, because my pelvis was twisting, my legs were different lengths. So my right leg was much shorter than my left leg. And so I think I had mentioned when we were in Vegas, at the end of I would start off fine. By the end of the day, I had to walk like this because I was in so much pain on this side. And that's why, because my hip I was literally tilted. So they have fixed the issue. They showed me how to fix the issue at home using Jason's help, do these things called shotguns. And it kind of like pops it back in. And in the meantime, we've been working on strengthening the joints and the muscles around that area so that it doesn't do that as often. It's not a permanent fix, but the stronger those muscles and joints are and ligaments, the less often it'll happen. So she was showing me some exercises I can do on the plane, because sitting for long periods of time, standing for long periods of time, walking for long periods of time are all things that'll cause it to pop out of place. So at least I have an answer. So I was in so much pain. I'm off all the medications that was related to that. And I am doing really well. I'm going to continue to go to physical therapy for probably another 6 weeks or so, because it is helping. But I'm still having pain there. So, we're trying to get it as strong as possible. Funny story, on Wednesday, I've been going faithfully at least Monday and Wednesday every week to physical therapy. I think I went Friday a few times too. And on Wednesday they called and they were like, I had forgotten that it was Wednesday. I don't know what day I thought it was. I just forgot that it was a day. And I've been showing up faithfully 5 minutes before my appointment, get checked in, pay whatever I need to pay, and then go back and get warmed up and start. And they called me at like 5:15 and she was like, Melissa, we're just checking on you because you're supposed to have physical therapy today and you didn't show up. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know today was Wednesday. Like, felt so bad. But anyway, yeah, that's the way my week has been going with work. I'm so glad it's Friday. But so there was that. And the same time, that the same conversation where my doctor gave me the degenerative disc disease diagnosis, she also diagnosed me with Hashimoto's, which is a autoimmune thyroid disorder. Disorder. I don't like the word disease. It sounds much worse, I think, than what it actually is. But so I've been struggling with hypothyroidism for a really long time, and I've been on levothyroxine for years. And it has progressed to Hashimoto's, which is kind of like the sister disease to Graves' disease. I don't know if you've heard of Graves' disease, because I think Hashimoto's is a little less talked about than Graves'. So Graves' is when you have a overactive thyroid, and Hashimoto's is when you have an underactive thyroid. And basically what it is my immune system attacks my thyroid. So it is autoimmune related, and when my immune system attacks my thyroid overresponds by releasing all these different hormones, which causes all these symptoms like hair loss, fatigue, joint pain and swelling, weight gain, irregular menstrual cycles, all of the things that I have been complaining about through my podcast for years. Like all of these things where I'm like, I don't understand why I have to nap every day after work, or why I'm so tired. And I beat myself up all the time because I have crashes where like I wake up and I'm fine like a normal person. I do my daily stuff, but like by the time I get to like 1 or 2 p.m., I completely shut down. Like so fatigued where like even lifting my arm hurts. Like, and I just thought it was, you're overweight, you're out of shape, you're not eating right, you're not getting enough of sleep at night, you're drinking too much caffeine, you have too much sodium, like all these things I was blaming and trying to adjust and fix for the past 2 to 3 years. Turns out none of that's gonna help. I mean, some of it might help. Losing weight could potentially help. But at the end of the day, I could be an extremely healthy person and still have the symptoms that I'm having, because it's out of my control completely. It's nothing I can help. My body is attacking itself and I can't stop that. There's no drug to take to stop it. There's nothing I can do to stop it. It's just, at this point, managing the symptoms. It's something I'm always going to have to deal with. And it wasn't a huge shocker. I had asked my doctor like a year ago if I potentially might have Hashimoto's, because I was talking to a friend who has Hashimoto's and has been dealing with it for several years. And she's like, you might want to ask, but Hashimoto's is hard to diagnose because the only way they can tell is if you're in the process of an episode where your antibody proteins have spiked. And every time I was having blood work drawn for my thyroid, I was not in an episode, and so they couldn't diagnose it. This time I just so happened to be in the middle of an episode, which is really funny because I thought I was just exhausted from going to Las Vegas and hiking 31 miles in 4 days. And it turns out that was not the only reason I was super exhausted. So I am just glad to know what it is. There's no cure, there's no fix. The only thing I can do is try to manage it through my diet, and there's certain foods I should avoid. And it's different for everybody. I basically have to keep track of what makes me feel like crap and then avoid whatever makes me feel like crap. Managing the symptoms by resting if I need a rest. Like if I feel exhausted, take an hour nap. Like just really allowing myself to rest and recover instead of pushing through it and then having a complete crash later on, because that's what I would do before. I would ignore it, I would push through it, and then I got to a point where I would have like an entire day where I couldn't do anything because I had ignored it and pushed through it. So resting when I need a rest, and taking my medication. Eventually, basically the treatment is to keep an eye on my hormone levels, my thyroid levels every 2 to 3 months, and then adjust my dose as needed. My dose will slowly continue to increase until my thyroid completely gives out, because that's what happens. Eventually your thyroid gets tired of overworking itself and it'll just stop working altogether, and at that point I'll have to go on full hormone replacement therapy. So which doesn't scare me, because technically the medication that I'm taking right now is a hormone. So yeah, I was a little like I cried after she called, but it was mainly because it was relief more than like, oh crap, I have this thing, like scared, because it was finally like, I'm not crazy. Because even my digestive issues that I've had for the past several years, like everything is related to this. And so I'm not crazy. I'm not a hypochondriac. It was like validation. So all of this to say, be your own advocate. You know your own body. If you feel like something's off, it probably is. Keep working with your doctor. Find a good doctor, first of all, that you trust and that you can talk to, because that takes a lot. I had a hard time finding my doctor, and I found her, and then I left her last year because she went on her own practice, and honestly I was having issues getting in to see her. She's the only doctor at that practice, so if she's off sick, or her kid is sick, or she has a family emergency, or she takes a day off work or a vacation, she's the only one there. There's nobody else I can see. So I switched practices for the past year, and that was a mistake. The other practice was even worse. And so I switched back to her, and I'm really grateful to be back with her, because my first appointment back, she was able to diagnose these 2 issues that I've been dealing with. So anyway, first step, find an amazing doctor that you feel comfortable with, that takes the time to talk to you, listens to all your concerns, and doesn't think that you're crazy or hypochondriac, or just trying to get you in and out, or, you know, giving you script after script after script. Find somebody that makes you comfortable. Second of all, once you find that person, keep going, keep working with them. You know something's off. Sometimes it might be something that's hard to diagnose or impossible to diagnose, but just keep telling them your symptoms, keep working with them, and eventually, hopefully, you'll find some relief. For me, I definitely had to be my own advocate, because there was like 3 or 4 years there where I've had these symptoms. So like just the hair loss, like, you know, when you go in for a hair loss, like that's not normal. The amount of hair that I was losing was not normal. And she was like, well, maybe it's an iron deficiency. But then we tested my iron was fine. So we started working on process of elimination, but I gave up on it. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Maybe it's just genetics, you know, but it turns out like it was related to this thing. So just be your own advocate. That's all I've got to say on that. So I have beat a dead horse with that one, so I will move on. Prince has made himself very comfortable on my FL pile. So now it's time to clean up the mess and go edit. I hope you guys had a wonderful couple of weeks, months. I think it's been like a month and a half since I podcasted. It's about to rain. It just got really dark and cloudy. So I'm gonna go get some water, and we have a little bit of yard work to do tomorrow, but most of it we got done last weekend. We did the front, we like mulched and trimmed bushes and all that fun stuff. And then I planted my garden, which I'm so excited about. I'll have to insert some pictures here for you guys. And this weekend we have to cut back our back fence line. We have some honey locust that grows back there that kind of goes out of control, so we got to cut that back. But I think that's it. I think that's all we got planned this weekend, so hopefully I can get lots of knitting done. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful couple of weeks. I will talk to you after my next trip, and keep knitting. Talk to you later. Bye.